I do remember it though. I do remember. I actually remember starting to ride for DMR very clearly.
Okay.
Because it
let's
was the
take
dream.
us back, man. Take us back to the prepubescent Ollie with no facial hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was racing four cross for a company called Dialed Bikes, and then they didn't have a dirt jump bike for me.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. So they didn't have a dirt jump bike for me, so I was racing four cross and then competing in dirt jump contests. You know, this is like King of Dirt days, NAS days, the bike show, that kind of thing. Actually, I didn't go to the bike show before DMR. Anyway, back then, it was quite the kind of... Dirt jumping was quite the kind of spectacle. So quite often, like, dirt jump events would happen alongside four cross events or as demos at races, or it was used as a spectacle. And weirdly, it was strangely big time back then. I would say now it's gone much more core, the dirt jump. Other than the giant events that go on, the UK scene is it's lower key. There's there's Dirt Wars.
Dirt Wars, isn't there, and stuff.
There's Dirt Wars, but they rarely go alongside other events, and that's really how we got crowds around and hype, because it would be at another event. So,
why do you think that could be? Like, I'd be interested just to hear your thoughts on that, because my initial thought is that when sports like dirt jumping, for example, I guess start picking up momentum, it feels like it's actually a little bit more accessible, and some of the tricks are a bit like, I could probably, after riding dirt for a few years, I could probably have a go at I don't know, let's just use a fucking tail whip, for example. Like, I probably at some point, but then it almost gets to a point where it's unachievable for a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know if you think that's accurate, but I feel like...
I was 16, so it's 21 years ago. There wasn't such thing as a foam pit that I knew of. So therefore, no one could backflip. Like, there were like a number of that you could count the number of people that could backflip on one hand, and I was one of them. Like, really, back then it was like you can name them. It was like Glenn Coe, Mike Smith, Jim Davidge, Chopper. Like, there were. I don't even know if Chris used to backflip. Chris Smith. Anyway, there were so few people that would backflip that a backflip was a real spectacle. People hadn't seen it in real life, and if there was a four cross race on, they put a dirt jump next to it. People want to see a backflip. You couldn't see it on your mobile phone. You didn't even have that. You have to wait for a video to come out. It wasn't like a thing. So that's what that's what I would put it down to. It was much more of a spectacle, and it was something that was going on in the woods, separate to everything. Dirt jumping was like it's funny talking about it now. It does make me feel a little bit old, but people don't think about that. They don't think about how Chopper Fielder, he was like Grant Fielder, who we've had on.
The man.
He was so the man, because when he did a 360 bar spin, it wasn't the same as you see someone do a 360 bar spin every 3 seconds on a TikTok or on Instagram. He had to make up things that he was doing. Maybe you could see it in a video in a VHS of a BMXer, or something like that. But you didn't have that. Like, it just wasn't accessible. You couldn't do it in foam, take it to resi, get it on dirt. You had to do it into a river or build a jump and do it. It was like, I feel like I'm making excuses for myself, and maybe I am. But
no, not at all. It was so weird though, man.
Yeah.
So pure back then. Like, it was so different. Like, all that stuff before, like you said before, now you can just look at whoever you may be looking up to, whether it's a Brett Reader or whoever it could be, and you can see all this stuff just swipe through it. Whereas then you had to make your way to a dirt jump comp. You heard rumors, this guy can flip, this guy can 3-whip, and you'd go and you'd try and see it. I remember, dude, right? It's slightly off topic, but not really. Mike Metzger coming over after the freestyle motocross flip was starting to get a little bit of momentum. Carey Hart did it. Mike Metzger then did it. He did a double, one big flip, and then he did another one after it, not a double flip in one hit. And he came to Sheffield, to the arena, to the Supercross, and he was going to do a backflip. And you had to physically buy a ticket, go down there, sit in the stands, and wait to see a backflip. And you saw it, and you were just like, wow, mind blown. But now you could just look at it anywhere. Like, you could see it anywhere, and you can watch replays of them and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's crazy, man, when you think I'd probably prefer it back then. I don't know about you, but I would definitely like it that way again. To be honest,
there is.
I don't know.
When you said I didn't think
times
of it
change.
as pure, I just think of myself as a bit of a dinosaur when I talk about it. But when you say pure, the reality is, right, everyone did all of these things without even thinking about filming them, and you can't argue that there's not something in that. It's because you wanted to do it. Like there's something that there is something like you are right. There is something pure about that. There is something cool. The fact that Chop like Jim Davidge did a front flip. There wasn't even a camera on him. He's just there with his mates. Chopper did.
Imagine
truck.
I know like rocking up to a comp as well. Knowing that you've probably got something in your trick bag that you haven't seen someone do before, that must be so insane. Like, and then just uncorking it and just doing it, that's crazy, man. The old days are so different when you really think back and how it was and
Mike Smith of MB. You know, he was really, really good early on at flips, so he could take it to any jump and do it. And I remember him doing flip tables, and I remember being like, fucking hell, we've got a contest coming up, you know, Mikey's going to do his flip table. It's funny to think about it, because now I'm so like, I'm kind of, obviously I'm crap at tricks. I don't get hyped about it, but I remember being so hyped. I had a 3 1 foot X, and I was like, right, we got NAS coming up. I'm going to drop the 3 1 foot X. Or like whatever. It's so funny.
It's interesting thinking about you as well as like a comp rat. Like I really can't see it, you know, and especially I didn't even know actually that you rode. I didn't know you rode for Dialed. That's crazy because I rode for Dialed as well.
No way.
So that's Mike
at Dialed.
Oh, yeah. Mike at Dialed, yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Mike at Dialed, but yeah, that's crazy. So I can't remember what year it was when I was doing it. It would have been like 2009 or 2010.
Yeah, wicked.
I read
good.
Dialed.
And that was 4-cross.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 4-cross. Yeah.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How
it is crazy,
that?
isn't it? So
yeah.
But to go back to DMR, I was 17 and I was at college. And I remember just thinking, like, DMR to me when I was younger was like the cool. It was one of the only brands that embraced dirt jumping, and like the Trail Star and the Sidekick and the Rhythm. They were all like, they were all kind of like they were trail boss bikes, especially around where we are. There's a lot of like proper trails, and Rob Horton was on the Rhythm, for instance. He's like a trail legend. The road trip used to come through town once a year with Alex Rankin for Sprung, and it was always the sickest riders. It was like Ross Tricker. It was like there was just something cool around DMR. And when I was younger, I really liked DMR, and to this day I still do. I still think it's like a brand that I'm drawn to. Not because it's super clean, not because it's fussy, not because it's all of the opposite things as a brand. It's like it's a real brand by riders for riders, and it's I don't know. I was so hyped. I remember being.
Are you able to do a brief overview of, you know, obviously we're talking about DMR and how, you know, at this even an early age you were like really into the brand, but do you have like a brief overview of how it started, and like, because I'd be interested to know myself, like how did it even start, and then how did they get into that scene?
So yeah, absolutely. It's Damien Mason and Matt Riley. That's what DMR stands for, and those are the two bosses to this day that I see. I now go in once a week, so I'm not there as often. But
did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type the Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!